The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Lee Zeldin. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. President Trump, he posted on Truth Social, placing the blame on Canada. We are holding Canada responsible for the fact that they are not properly maintaining their forests and brush therein, and the United States is being unnecessarily invaded by filthy, polluted, and unhealthy air, the quality of which is dangerous and totally unacceptable. He also calls it negligence, a yearly occurrence, and costing the United States billions of dollars. What do you think about this, sir?
Yeah, this is a big problem. There are now just under 1,000 wildfires in Canada. Over 200 of them are out of control. As you just pointed out from President Trump's statement, this isn't a first-time occurrence. This is something that was faced last year and prior to that as well. So part of the responsibility of an agency like EPA is collecting data and informing the public. It's actually the most visited webpage of the federal government today, as of this morning, was this website that shows this monitoring data for air quality. But beyond that is the way that a decision is made to proactively prevent, to mitigate this from happening in the first place, to be able to detect as soon as a fire starts, to scale up, mobilize, respond quickly to put a fire out right away. Most of our own country here does it pretty well. There are some states, I mean, I've been on air here, Newsmax, talking about California, what happened in the Palisades and Altadena. We talk about how in our own country there are ways that some states can do a better job. But in California, in Canada, they let the fire burn, monitoring critical assets. And the problem is that so much is burning at one time that it ends up causing this massive environmental impact, not just to their own people, but to us as well. And that's why the president is so outspoken on this.
And you've said that these wildfires are a result of Canada's forestry management practices. So what should they be doing and that they're not doing?
It's really important to be able to proactively engage in wildfire prevention and forest management, to engage in mitigation activities that prevent a fire from spreading in the first place. The perfect example that would relate to Americans is that example of the Palisades from a year and a half ago, where there's a state park in California, in the Los Angeles area, right next to all of these homes. And instead of there being brush clearance where the park is meeting the homes, they didn't do any of it. So when the fire starts burning, it so rapidly ends up spreading to the homes that people don't have time to flee. Fire departments don't have enough time to stage to hopefully prevent that fire from crossing from the park to the residential area in the first place. This is probably the closest to home example that Americans can relate to. On top of it, as far as how you fight fire, sticking with that Palisades example, water flows down using gravity. They use pressure point pumps to get water to flow up, and there wasn't enough pressure to get the water to flow. You have to plan in advance, utilizing new technology to make sure that you're detecting the fire right away, that you have the resources to be able to put the fire out as soon as it starts. So there are a lot of lessons that we here in our country have learned. And again, because this isn't the first time this is hitting Canada, there might be just less tolerance and more frustration from Americans who are speaking up.
Can we sue the Canadian government? They're costing us billions of dollars, what Trump just put on his Truth Social. Can we sue them for this? Or should we?
Listen, the president is talking about the trade negotiations and leverage between our countries. The president is taking inventory on what that leverage looks like. I had a phone call earlier with the Canadian ambassador to the United States. It was a productive conversation. Having that ongoing dialogue is extraordinarily important. It's something, though, that, as I was communicating to them directly, and I'll say the same thing here on air, is that there's just not as much rope as you've seen in past years because this continues to happen. And the first priority is putting the fire out. No matter how much we speak about what to do in the future, there's gonna be a time for a conversation to be had, a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road to make sure that a year from now this isn't taking place again. Right now, what is most important is that these fires are put out as quickly as possible. As far as leverage points, obviously the president is taking inventory of everything that is available to him. He's referencing trade, though, specifically in his statement.
Okay, Lee Zeldin, thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.